Welcome to our cooking class this evening. Tonight, we're going to be doing some quick summer entertaining recipes. So hopefully you get some good new recipes to try and some hints and tips to go along the way. If you have questions, I'd love it if you could put them in the chat box while we're presenting, so it's not sort of disruptive, and we'll try and answer the questions as we go. But also at the very end, there'll be a chance for everyone who wants to come off mute and ask other questions. And if you want to, I can stop the recording for that part for your own privacy. The recording will only show the presenters, so you don't need to worry about that. But yeah, hopefully you get something out of this evening. And tomorrow I'll be sending out an email with the link to the recording as well as the links to the recipes, so that you can get cooking with these great recipes we're showing you tonight. And most of you on here tonight already have a TM6. There's only a couple of you who don't. So what we're going to do is just get straight into the recipes, and at the very end, I can show you some TM6 features and functions for those who don't know about that. Just stay on and we can go through some extra little things as well. So to get started, we'll just pass over to Yolanda, who is going to show us two very quick summer entertaining recipes.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming along. Bear with me, I'm a bit out of practice. Whilst I've been a Thermomix consultant for 6 years, I haven't done any cooking classes for about 4 or 5 months as I've moved house. So a bit rusty, a bit out of practice, but never mind, we're all human, bear with me. Tonight I'm going to make an entertaining cocktail. I'm going to make an Aperol and lemon sour cocktail with Aquafaba. Aquafaba is an interesting one. It's actually the fluid that you get when you drain a tin of chickpeas, and you can whip it and it will behave like an egg white. So if you're going to make a vegan recipe like meringue or anything where you need egg white, perhaps even things like making spiced nuts, instead of whipping an egg white, you can whip the Aquafaba, put the spices through, it'll behave very nicely and it creates a good foam. So it's a good vegan alternative to egg white. So we'll use that tonight. We're going to make this recipe. It does use Aperol, and for me, Aperol is a little bit of one of those emotional things, all about memories of trips to Europe when I first found Aperol in 2015. What is that orange drink? So this one's going to be interesting. Let's have a go. I'll just put my computer down. I haven't actually done this before, so all should be fine. I trust the Thermomix. The first thing we're going to do is put in about 30 grams of raw sugar. So I just weigh that into the top. Near enough 30 grams. You can be right on the dot if you want, or you can make it a bit sweeter or less sweet if that's what you want. The next thing we do, 2 pieces of lemon peel, about 4 centimetres long. So I've just peeled those off earlier. We don't want the white pith, we just want the lemon peel on the outside. The pith gets to be a bit bitter, so we don't want that. We pop that in the Thermomix. And then we put our measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid like that. And we're just going to grind that together to make a citrus sugar. So about 10 seconds on speed 10. Zoom's going to mute you so you won't hear the noise. There we go, the 10 seconds are up. And what we do now is we just put that citrus sugar into a little bowl and set it aside. It smells wonderful. It's just beautifully ground lemon zest with the sugar. I'm using the FlexCore spatula. Laura knows I love this spatula. You can get it at the mix shop. It's really nice for clearing the bowl, very flexy, long handle, and you can get them in a couple of different colours. I quite like the bright lime green one. There's actually a sale at the mix shop starting tomorrow. So if there's some items you might have had your eye on, either for yourself or for presents, it's a great time to dive on and grab a bargain when it's on sale. I think it starts at midday tomorrow. Is that right, Laura?
That's right. 12 o'clock tomorrow the sale starts, and it ends at 12 o'clock on the 29th.
Yep. Bargain hunting time. All right, so there's my citrus sugar. And I'll just set that aside. But the other thing I've done is when I've prepared the lemon flesh for the rest, I've taken the peel off and I've just put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'll freeze that because that is super, super useful for a couple of other recipes like There's a white chocolate blueberry tray bake that wants some lemon zest. And there's also a lemon feta recipe as part of a lemon feta chili beef, and it wants lemon zest. So I put that in the freezer when I've used the lemon pulp for something else, and then I haven't wasted it and I've got it for other recipes. Okay, next thing we're going to do is put in some ice cubes. I'll just grab those.
Just while Yolanda's gone, there was a question in the chat about the Aquafaba. You can also use the water when you're cooking your own chickpeas, just cool it down, and I believe that's the same. I've been told, but I haven't used that. I've only ever used the tin, but yeah.
Okay, so there's my ice. If I was organised, I would have had that ready earlier. Now I'm going to put in 130 grams of lemon flesh, just the flesh, no seeds, no pith. And that's what's going to make our Aperol sour. And measuring cap goes into the mixing bowl lid. We're going to grind the lemon flesh with the ice together. The Thermomix blade is so sharp, it does a beautiful job of grinding ice. So here we go, 10 seconds. Wow, I'm always impressed when I see that. Just 10 seconds and it's really smashed that lemon flesh and the ice together beautifully. Now I'm going to add 150 grams of Aperol. Beautiful orange tasting liqueur that makes beautiful cocktails and Aperol spritzers.
So if I wanted to make this a mocktail, because as you know, I don't drink alcohol, would I just use orange juice at this point?
You could use orange juice or an orange flavoured syrup of sorts.
Yeah.
It does smell very orangey, a bit like Fanta really, but not the same. This one, I just buy this at Aldi. It's good value, and for me, it tastes very much like the Aperol I've had in Europe in the past.
Great.
All right, there we go. And the next thing we're going to do is put in 20 grams of the citrus sugar that we milled before. So not all of it, just 20 grams. I love the scales, that they're so accurate on the TM6. I love that weighing down to 1 gram. There we go, 20 grams is in. And now we're going to just give the sides a bit of a scrape down. And the lid goes back on. And we'll now blend it just for 10 seconds. Okay, next step. We want to just sieve out some of that pulp. So I've got a fine mesh sieve and a jug, and we're simply going to sieve that through there while we do our next step with the Aquafaba. Okay, here we go. Smells wonderful. Nice and icy. I can smell the citrus. I can smell the orange Aperol. I'm looking forward to this one already, Laura.
Yolanda was saying she's had a long day, so she's glad she's making a cocktail for us tonight.
I have had a long day. I've been everywhere, man. Right, so now I'm going to divide that between 4 cocktail glasses and set it aside. I'm going to clean and dry in the mixing bowl. But my version of cleaning and drying the mixing bowl is grabbing another mixing bowl, because we all know there's nothing more handy than a second bowl when you've got a Thermomix. So we'll pop that one in. Now I'm going to put the butterfly whisk in. I'll just pop him in there. And the next step, 60 grams of Aquafaba. So a little bit earlier this afternoon, I drained my chickpeas, and that's what the Aquafaba looks like. It's quite cloudy and it's just a straw colour. So we want 60 grams of that. I've made Aquafaba meringues before. They were really successful. I was so pleased with myself. Okay, so without the measuring cap, we put the lid on and we're going to whip that for just 1 minute. While that's whipping, I'll pour the Aperol into the glass jar, glasses. I thought we'd use some pretty ones, why not?
It's a pretty colour.
It is a pretty colour, isn't it? It's still, the ice and the pulp is still melting, so I'm just going to leave the rest sit aside. I won't make 4 glasses. Besides, there's only 2 of us here tonight, so I'll let the rest drain and we can use that later.
Yolanda, what's the name of this dish again? It's a cocktail, Doran, and it's an Aperol. Someone's just asked in the chat.
Aperol lemon sour with Aquafaba foam.
A little bit fancy. I'm trying to show you how easy it is to make a quick cocktail, but it's actually really fancy. There's lots of other cocktails you can make in the Thermomix as well. Even if you just type in the word cocktail into your Cookie Do search bar or the search bar and recipe community, you'll see a lot come up.
And mocktails as well, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Now, the next step, I was jumping the gun. The next step is to leave the lid on, and then we're going to add the remaining citrus sugar through the hole in the mixing bowl lid while it's whipping the Aquafaba. So I've just got to go back a step. Meanwhile,
Like what you do with meringue.
Yeah, but I've just gone too far forward.
And then Doran's asking if it's sour. It has like a bit of sour, but it's also sweet.
Yep.
And then the liqueur flavour as
well. I'm just putting the
well.
last of that sugar in, just as you said, exactly like a meringue. You would just put that in a bit at a time and letting that whip through for another 30 seconds or so. That's looking pretty good to me for someone who's never made this before. I'm pretty happy.
You've made similar things, so you knew it would work.
Well, I think that's the thing with Thermomix. I trust the recipes. I know they've been tested and tried, and I trust them. I know I can make something and it'll be good straight up. All right, my foam's looking very foamy. You can see that on the lid. I think that's a pretty good foam in there. So now the recipe tells me I should move the butterfly whisk and top the cocktails with the Aquafaba and garnish with a dehydrated orange if you have one. Well, I don't have one of those, so we're just going to go with this. I did have this guy from the mix shop as well. He's called a spoonula. He's like a spatula, but he's a spoon, and he's quite handy for things like this. You can clear the bowl with it, and you can mix things with it. So this is making my cocktail look quite fancy, having the foam on top. As I said, I don't have a dehydrated orange to put on it. Unfortunately, I just didn't have time to
That's quite all right
today. But you know what? I think that looks pretty delicious.
Yeah. And we're going to want a review, so you're going to have a taste.
I'm going to have to taste it. If I have to, if you insist. Oh, it's like it's frothy and creamy on top. And then you've got this wonderful citrusy orange zing with a nice bit of lemon. And it's a good balance of sour with sweet. So, yeah, it is quite sour, but not in a bad way. It's quite delicious and refreshing. And I think for summer when the weather's hot, that'd be really quite lovely to serve this for something really special.
Oh, that's lovely.
There you go. That's
thanks for showing us. Yeah, thanks for showing us that, Yolanda. So 4 cocktail serves in about, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 minutes all up if you're a bit organised. I'm going to make a dip next. Do you want me to go straight into that one?
If you're ready,
okay,
or I can if you need a minute.
I am indeed ready. I'm just going to pop this aside so
Otherwise,
I don't slur my words while I'm talking to you. I don't think I'll get drunk that fast. Right, so lucky for me, I do have yet another bowl. So in we go, straight into the next recipe. We'll finish this one. We'll do a a super fast little tidy up there in the background. Welcome to my kitchen. This is how we roll. Lots of things going on at once.
Well, that's what happens when you're entertaining as well, isn't it?
It is. And I think modern kitchens now are designed so that everybody's in the kitchen. Your living area is, your kitchen is part of your living area.
Well, and it's fun when you have your guests to have them sitting up at the bench. You could hand them the ingredients and have them make the cocktail, because the on-screen directions are so easy and clear to follow. It's like part of the fun is making it.
I agree. And I guess for me too, my kids are all that bit bigger and they've got TM5. So if they show up and we're really busy, I'll go, can one of you just cook that? And they all know what they're doing, which is wonderful. Right, next recipe. So when Laura asked me to help out at this class, I'm going to admit I'd completely forgotten. I'd put my hand up and said I would. So I was really underprepared. I hadn't thought about recipes. I knew I was going to be out all day today. And it was only really last night I went, okay, yes, I could do 2 dishes. So I looked in my fridge and went, what can I make? What can I make that we would eat, that we would use, that's really fast with ingredients that people might well have in their house? And I came up with the herb and garlic dip. It's a recipe I made when I got my first Thermomix, and I was impressed by it back then because it was a nice alternative to chunky dips and to hummus. And I often always have a block of cream cheese in the fridge, and I typically always have some garlic and some shallots and some parsley because I grow them in the garden. So it's one of those really, really fast dips you could make if someone suddenly came to visit you and you needed to quick sticks do it. It's also something that you can make and you can use it instead of butter on some fresh bread. It's really lovely. And then put whatever else, some tomatoes or whatever you're going to put on your sandwich. So it makes a really nice sandwich, not just to dip. So let's get started with the world's fastest dip. And all we have to do is just pop a garlic clove in. I had a monstrous big garlic clove, so I've cut it down a bit because otherwise we'll be keeping vampires away for a year. Next thing we do, some fresh flat leaf parsley, about 6 sprigs. So I've always got this in my garden, super fresh, nice and easy. Go and grab that, pop that in. And then we want 2 spring onions chopped into pieces. So I've got these growing in the garden as well. I just raced out and grabbed a couple, pop them in. And next thing we do is put the lid on. Really is that simple. Spring onion, garlic, some parsley, and we're now going to just mix all that together for 3 seconds on speed 7. There we go. Give our bowl a bit of a scrape down. 3 seconds speed 7. I think that's really impressive how well chopped that is in that short space of time. If I was sitting there with a knife and a chopping board, to get it that fine and that evenly mixed in 3 seconds, there's no way that was going to happen. So I find that wonderful with the Thermomix. Now we're going to add the cream cheese cut into pieces. I just opened the block earlier just to make it a bit faster, and I'll give it just a rough chop into, you know, maybe 2 centimetre pieces or similar. Just so I'm not putting in a solid big block. You might notice this guy here. This is in the mix shop as well. This is called a paring knife. It is my new favourite. It is so sharp. It is really nicely weighted in the handle, so it's pleasant to hold. And it's my go-to knife for pretty much everything at the moment. I love it so much that I've actually bought them for my best friend for Christmas and for an engagement present as well. They're in the mix shop on sale. So with that sale coming up tomorrow, they're worth having. So pop the lid on and then we mix it just 20 seconds.
Just about the chopping the herbs in the Thermomix, the other great thing about that is because of the high-grade stainless steel, nothing in there oxidizes, which means it stays really nice and green, and you have that retention of vitamins in there as well. So this dip's actually really impressive for the color that comes out of it compared to chopping herbs by, you know, knife on a board.
Right, now the next thing we get to adjust the consistency by adding a couple of tablespoons of either milk or yogurt. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a swish around. For me, I don't want that any softer or more runny. I'm actually quite happy with that texture. So what I might do though, is I might put in some thick yogurt because it will just add a little bit of acidity that I think will be nice in that dip. So bear with me while I grab the yogurt.
That's a good idea. I usually just leave it as is because I'm always trying to be the quickest possible as I can. And the other thing I was going to say earlier is if you don't have particularly parsley or spring onions, you can use any herbs in this. So I've used basil or oregano or rosemary and thyme, just whatever you have growing in your garden at the time.
Yeah,
so
I just think a little bit of acidity from the yogurt would be nice. So I'm just going to put a nice big dollop of that in. And then I'm going to just give it a quick mix. So the recipe's now finished. Sprinkle with a bit of parsley. I'm going to go in reverse so I don't chop it anymore and just mix it on about speed 3, just for maybe 5 seconds on reverse. That'll do. I love that guided cooking is indeed a guide. You can add things, you can mix it up your way. Well, I'm wearing the apron, Thermomix my way. That's kind of how it rolls, really. So I think that's a really, really fast dip with things that a lot of people would mostly have in their house. You can serve it, as I said, as a dip, or you can serve it spread on some nice crusty sourdough. And it makes a decent sized serving. There's more in the bowl, but in the interest of saving time, that's how we look. I hope you can see all of that.
Yep. Very quick, very impressive. Thank you, Yolanda.
Very quick, very easy. That's it from me. I'm going to go and drink my cocktail.
Love it. That's awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
So yeah, we did want to try and tonight show you like really quick recipes because we know when you're entertaining that it can all get a bit too much sometimes, but we want you to still entertain over summer. Don't not invite friends over because you think it'll be so much work. So we wanted to show you really quick, easy recipes or fun recipes you can do when your friends come. So we wanted to choose a cocktail, a dip, and now I'm going to show you a salad and then a dessert. So this salad I've chosen because I love the chopped salads in the Thermomix. One of my favorites is the broccoli salad. I also love the coleslaw, but tonight I want to show you a pineapple salad because when I first saw this recipe, I just went crazy for it, but then I forgot about it. And it's actually been about a year or two since I've made it. And I got excited thinking, oh, summer entertaining, pineapple salad. Okay, exciting. So this is actually within a recipe called, I think this is in Meals in a Flash. Oh, if I can remember which, it's on Cookie Do anyway. It's called jerk chicken with pineapple slaw. And I want to show you how you can just do part of a recipe. You don't have to do a whole recipe. So if I scroll down, the first part is doing your chicken. Oh, I'm not doing that tonight. So I'm going to get down here to the pineapple slaw. So all I have to do is click on that section and it takes me straight to it. So you don't have to click through a million next buttons. So the first thing it wants me to do is add in my cabbage, and I just really roughly chopped it like in chunks and it all fell apart in the bowl. But as you can see, just big chunks. I've got a whole big bowl of it, which almost fills up the whole Thermomix bowl. I actually want to weigh that because I did follow the recipe when it said half a cabbage, but I want to see how big or small my cabbage was. So I'm going to press these 3 dots here and press scale, and it's going to tell me how big my coleslaw, how big my cabbage was, sorry. Yeah, okay. Got a few extra pieces here. So almost 400 grams. Okay, and then I'll press next, and now it's asking me for the pineapple, which I've got. Oh, I've got it chopped up here on this board, just in chunks. So that can go in. And now our bowl is getting pretty full. So you can see we're making a lot of salad here. Now it's going to ask us for the spring onions. And I used up all my spring onions in my garden the other day. So I had to buy more for the first time in a really long time. But I want to just show you, when you're buying spring onions, don't throw these bits out. This is what you plant in your soil in the garden, and the spring onions will just grow out of those shoots. It's like the easiest thing to grow. I'm not a good gardener, but that's like the easiest thing to grow. So I know how to do that. Now we're going to be adding some grapeseed oil, or whatever oil you want, but a flavor less oil is good. And that's why this recipe has chosen grapeseed, just because, you know, olive oil can have a strong flavor sometimes, but whatever you want to use is good. We're also going to add some lime juice. Just squeeze that earlier. Dead on. Perfect. And some honey. So a teaspoon of honey. Mine's not very runny. It's like going a little solid there. Need to put it out in the sun, I think. But yeah, that will just be a really good mix. So we've got something acidic. We've got the oil, which you want in every salad because it helps bring out the vitamins. Yolanda taught me that. You need a bit of oil in your salads. And we've got something sweet. So this is going to be a really nice balance for our pineapple salad. Nice. And we put in some salt and pepper. So we're taking care of all the flavor bases. Only a little bit of pepper, just like a pinch. So now it's telling me to put the spatula in the bowl while we're mixing. And if ever you don't understand, well, in some recipes, when it thinks you might not understand what it's talking about, it shows you a little video, which is slow while I'm on Zoom, but it's just to kind of show you if you weren't sure what the instructions meant. So the reason we're doing that is because our bowl is very full. I'll just show you. We've got it all up here at the top. So when I put the lid on this time, I'll take off that measure cup. We don't need that. I've got this here, and I'm going to get my spatula ready in here, and I'm going to help it move along. And it's only 5 seconds, so we need to be quick. And then, because you can never go backwards, it's good to have a look, see how you like it, and if you want it done further, you can always do it more, but don't go too far. You can't go backwards. So that's 5 seconds. I am actually going to do it longer. I want it a little bit finer than that. So anytime you're not happy with the processing of what the Thermomix has done, just press the back button, which is up top left, and we'll do that step again. Probably not 5 seconds. I might do 3. Yeah, I think that looks good now. I just didn't want to do it too far. Yeah, this looks great. Okay, so I'll show you what we have here. So it's about 2 liters, now that it's condensed down, of a nice chopped chunky salad. I hope you can see the chunks of the cabbage mix in really nicely with the pineapple, and the dressing has combined all really nicely around it as well. So then I would just, if I was entertaining, so you can see how quick it can be to make a nice salad on the side of your barbecue. 5 seconds, and I would say allow 5 minutes to get out your ingredients and chop it up. So when the Thermomix is only 5 seconds, remember to allow yourself a minute of getting the ingredients out. But still 5 minutes to put together a yummy salad is very impressive. And look how much it makes. It's quite a nice big salad. And if you had more people, just don't wash the bowl, get another batch of your ingredients, because the recipe was half a cabbage, half a pineapple. Just don't wash the bowl and make another batch, and you've got even more salad to feed more people. So we've got just, oh, you can't see, spreading it out on this platter. We've got, yeah, so it makes quite enough salad. And then if you want to, you can garnish it with some, I mean, it's fine the way it is, but if you want to garnish it down the middle with some spring onion, you can, or just in the middle, like maybe a sprig of mint or whatever, just in the middle to make it look a bit prettier on the table, even though it's all very green. Yeah, so super quick and easy. I'd love to hear if you try making it. I'd love to hear how you like it. I think it's very refreshing alongside a barbecue, especially works really well with the jerk chicken that this recipe is with. Just that spicy chicken with this beautifully refreshing salad. It works really well. But for now, I'll set it aside because we are going to make a dessert now. So I'll get out of that recipe. And again, same as Yolanda, I'll just get a new bowl. It's very handy having two bowls. If anyone is investing in a Thermomix at the moment, we actually have an offer to get a second bowl set for $29, which is the most affordable that's ever been, because normally it's $375. So a really big saving. So yeah, that's exciting for our new customers. So if you know anyone who wants to get their hand on a Thermomix, now's a really great time. Okay, so now this dessert, you're going to think I'm pineapple mad, but honestly, I just typed in summer dessert into Cookie Doo and this came up. And again, this is a recipe I've made a few times, but it's been a little while and it's impressive. So there's lots of instant desserts you can make in the Thermomix. A lot of them use berries, like or frozen fruits, whatever, or frozen mango. This one is called frozen pineapple cream. And it is delicious. So I'm just going to press start cooking and go straight into the recipe. So it's telling me to add raw sugar. So anytime you're milling in your Thermomix, you need your bowl to be very dry. If it's got any sort of moisture in it, the milling won't work as well. So I've put in 50 grams of raw sugar. Oh, I forgot, it's going to ask me for the mint leaves now. So I've just got some mint out of the garden. If you don't have mint, it's not necessary for the recipe. It adds a really nice, extra dimension of flavor to have the mint in with the pineapple. But if you don't have it, it's okay. It's still going to be a nice pineapple dessert. So put the lid on, and this is going to mill for 10 seconds while I go to the freezer to get out the pineapple. Okay. I'll show you what we have. The sugar is nicely milled in with the mint, and you can see, I don't know if you can see actually, I don't want to pour sugar all over my laptop, but I don't know if you can see little green flecks in there. Smells amazing, that mint flavored sugar. Okay, oh, I was supposed to be scraping it down just then. Wasn't paying attention to that. So now we're going to add our frozen pineapple. So you can buy it in bags or you can buy it fresh and freeze it yourself, just in chunks. Works really well. So I have a bag that I bought, and then it was a 500 gram bag. So I have also frozen some fresh. and that is okay. I didn't even weigh that, I just estimated. And then we add some coconut milk. Now you can make your own coconut milk in the Thermomix, but remember we're doing quick entertaining tonight and I just wanted to grab a tin. But yeah, it's something you can make in your Thermomix. You can make almond milk, coconut milk, rice milk, soy milk, all the milks. But yes, it is also quick to buy it. And then egg whites. So this recipe uses 2 egg whites and they're going to be raw in there. So you do need to just check that raw egg is okay with your guests. We're okay with it. We're happy to have raw egg protein, but I know some people won't be happy with that. So there's actually another recipe. Until you know how, follow the recipe for Fruity Dream, where you cook the egg white just on a really low temperature. I think it's 37 degrees, might be 40. But anyway, you cook it at a really low temperature. So you have a cooked meringue in your bowl and then you add your fruit and then you make the, instant dessert. So it's a really great recipe if you want cooked meringue, but I'm happy to have it raw for this one. So yeah, so now we're adding in the spatula in the top and we're going to be chopping this fruit on speed 7 for 40 seconds. Okay. So it looks done as it is, but we're going to make it even better. So I'll just show you what we have here after 40 seconds. We have a beautiful, what looks like it could be ready, but we are going to do better than that. We are going to add our butterfly now, I think. Oh no, we're going to mix it again, another 20 seconds. I don't think it needs it, but let's follow the recipe for the sake of the class. There we have it. And now we are going to insert the butterfly whisk. And if you aren't sure how, again, there's a video. But basically, when there's already food in your Thermomix, I do have some people ask me this every now and then, sorry, just dropped a measure cup. Just use your spatula to kind of get the food a little bit to the sides. The other thing you can do is just kind of put in your butterfly and kind of jiggle it in and really just make everything else get out of the way. And then I'll use my spatula again to just scrape down the ingredients so it's back where we want it around the butterfly. This time we're putting in our measure cup and we're going to turn to speed 4 for 40 seconds. So this is just a really nice instant recipe, as long as you've got your fruit ready. And I like to keep bags of fruit in the freezer at all times so I can whip up a quick dessert. Sometimes, I have people showing up, or sometimes I just haven't thought that far ahead. But this is impressive. Everyone likes it. It's refreshing. It's healthy. It kind of ticks all my boxes. Quick, healthy, yummy, fairly cheap dessert to make as well. So, especially if the fruit you're freezing is in season. Okay. And then it says garnish with mint leaves and serve immediately. But there we have it. It's whipped up very nicely. So you can see it's different after adding the butterfly. It whips it up really nicely. So remove the butterfly. Someone can lick that if they want. It's always nice to lick the beater. Oh, get our dish out. It's probably nicer if you use a scoop. I'm just using the spatula tonight. I should have probably used a scoop to make it look prettier, but you guys get the idea. And then you can, if you want to, again, garnish with a little bit of mint. Don't have to. If you're going to be eating it straight away, the mint's just going to get in the way, but it's very pretty. Looks very nice. So there's our pineapple. We've got the mint flavor in there. We've got the coconut flavor in there. So it's a really refreshing dessert to have in summer, especially when entertaining, and it makes a fair amount. So, and again, with how quick it was, you could just make up another batch, but I think if you're just having a little cup each or a little bowl each, it makes, you know, a good amount. So they're the 4 recipes we wanted to make for you all this evening. I just realized I want that out to show you the Thermomix. So those who came on just to see the recipes and get some hints and tips for summer entertaining, I hope that was useful for you. And I'd love to hear if you end up making some of these recipes. For those who are interested in some promotions we have on at the moment, we have 6 different host reward options available. If you're wanting to gather 2 friends, and that could be virtually in one of these classes or a virtual cooking experience just with your consultant and 2 friends. It's more of a smaller group that's more interactive, or it could be in your house. We have 6 different host reward options. So there's lots of different shapes and sizes and colors of thermo servers. We have our thermo mats, and we have our blade cover peeler option as well. For those who think you're loving your Thermomix and you might want to share that with other people in the community, you might consider becoming a consultant like Yolanda and I. And it's, you know, we're out in the community sharing how much we love the Thermomix with others. We just want to be the ones sharing it. I think everyone needs to see it. It's really fun. It's flexible hours. The training and development is all included. And you can either bring your own Thermomix and start earning commissions straight away, or you can earn a new TM6 if you're wanting to get a second one in your kitchen or upgrade to the TM6 model, or if you don't have one yet. At the moment, we have a promo on where you can come on and earn a Thermomix by selling 4. And normally that number is 6. And normally it's still very achievable and easy to do with what effort you put in. But at the moment it's 4, which is a really good discount as such. So if you're interested in that, please let us know. We'll get you the info. No obligation to join if you want to just get the info, but just, you know, have a chat with us and then you can decide once you have all the info about it. But yeah, if you do know anyone who's interested in just purchasing a Thermomix at the moment, or if it's you yourself, we do have 36 months interest free on, so less than $17 a week to get a TM6 in your bench. And we have our bowl offer. So to get 2 bowls, it's only an extra $29, which is an amazing deal. I'm actually going to, just to make it easier for us to get info to you, I'm just launching a poll, which you can answer on the screen at the moment if you're interested in becoming a Thermomix consultant, just so we can get you that info really easily. And if it's not something for you right now, if you think about it in the future, just get in touch with one of us. So if you're on here tonight, that means you're in touch with a consultant who's shared this class with you somehow. So we'll get you that info. And so I'll just end that poll and move on to the next poll. If you're interested in gathering a couple of friends and getting yourself a host reward, learning some new tips about the Thermomix along the way, and eating some recipes that you might not have tried yet, you might want to host a cooking experience. So, and it could be that you've never hosted before. If you haven't had got one of our thermo servers, they are amazing. They keep your food hot for a couple of hours or cold. And, you know, there's a myriad of uses for them. So if you haven't got one yet, this is really the only way to get one. And then just there, I think all of you on here tonight, most of you already had a Thermomix and most of you already had a TM6, but you never know. I thought I would just put it out there. Who's interested in purchasing at the moment? And if you know someone else who is, refer them to your consultant as well. It's a great time to get a Thermomix on people's benches. So for those who want to learn more about the Thermomix itself, thank you for answering those polls. I know I did it quite quick, but if you know where to come if you want more info. For those who aren't sure what the TM6 has, we've used it a little bit tonight, but I will just quickly go through it for those who wanted to see a little bit more. So when you turn your Thermomix TM6 model on, this is the home screen that you see. So this is where you can do manual cooking, where you can set your time, set your temperature or your speed. And whatever you touch, that's what, when you move the selector dial, that's what you're controlling. The Thermomix on manual mode goes up to 120 degrees, and then on high heat mode, it goes up to 160. If we swipe this way, we have a whole host of modes that you can use when you're doing your manual cooking. So you've got your scales, which go in 1 gram increments, so super convenient for adding in your ingredients. Just makes drizzling in or pouring in whatever very convenient, not having to use measure cups. We've got dough mode. Turbo is a quick pulse. Pre-clean mode, I love, love, love. You just choose what, add in water and then choose the type of recipe you've been cooking and it does a clean mode. Love that so much. We've got blend mode, which is obvious. Egg boiler is where you choose. So you put your eggs in and your water into the bowl. The blades will not be moving on egg boiler mode. So that's different. And you choose how you want your eggs and it will just cook it perfectly for you. Then we've got kettle mode where you can choose how hot you want your liquid to become by the end and it will just sing out when it reaches that temperature. We've got warm up to reheat different recipes. Thicken is for sauces. So if you're wanting to make a gravy or a bechamel or a custard or a hollandaise or something like that, that you put in your ingredients and it will detect when it's ready and it will finish. Same as rice cooker, you put in your water and your rice and it will absorb. Again, the blades will not be moving in this mode as it's the absorption method of cooking rice. So yeah, it will give you an approximate time once it detects your ingredients. And then we have ferment mode for making your yogurts or veggies or fermenting or raising bread, dough, things like that. Slow cook goes up to 8 hours. And the blades move every 15 minutes just to give it a stir, but otherwise they sit dormant. And then we've got sous vide mode, which is for a very low and slow, gentle way of cooking your meats. This one is where the temperature goes in 1 degree increments because those who are gourmet and really want to do sous videing are very specific about the temperatures. So there is that option as well. And then we have our peeler mode to peel your potatoes or beetroot or whatever else you're wanting to peel. Now, we also, if we go the other way, this is where we are in Cookie Do, and this is what I love about the TM6 so much. You just turn it on, swipe to the TM6 screen. You can scroll down to see what's new and trending, or you can just type something into this bar. So for tonight, for example, I just typed, I had an idea of what I wanted to make. It's actually slower when I'm on Zoom because it's using so much internet. It's normally a lot quicker than this. But yeah, I just typed in summer to see what was going to come up. But if you know what you want to cook, you type in the name of what you want to cook. You can also type in the name of an ingredient or a keyword like healthy or quick or gluten-free, or what I've done is summer. You could type in the word Christmas or the word entertaining and just see what comes up. And you'll just see so many amazing recipes that you wouldn't have even thought to try because it's just coming up. And so once you've chosen what you want to cook, press it. I've never seen this recipe before, unicorn lemonade. So you can scroll down to see what ingredients are in the recipe and the steps. You've also got your nutrition guide and hints and tips, and sometimes there's substitutions as well. But once you're ready, you just press start cooking and it guides you through one step at a time, which you've seen us do tonight when we were cooking the dishes. So the TM6, has some really handy things about it. It's also got a section where you can put in your own recipes. So these are ones I've entered that are family favorites, all the recipes we love that are not on Cookie Do. And you can see pictures of my kids in some of them because they really are our recipes. There's more things you can do with weekly planners and shopping lists and things like that as well. There's just a lot to the TM6, and that was a really quick rundown. But if you want more info about it, I would love to show you. Just ask me. I can show you anything about it anytime. We can even do a one-on-one Zoom, or we can just have a chat, or I can come to you, and if I'm not your consultant, whoever your consultant is, we'll be happy to do that. We love showing people, so no question is silly. Don't be shy to reach out to any of us if you have any questions about anything. But yes, I wanted to keep this to 45 minutes. I've gone a little bit over, but I hope it's been useful for you tonight, and I would love to open it up to you now for anyone who has any questions. I'll just stop the recording. But yeah, if you have other questions, feel free to come off mute and let's go through those.